The Stack. People, Business, Technology. With Dan Tomaszewski of Everything MSP.
Hello, everybody. Dan Tomaszewski here with Everything MSP. We are here live at Pax8 Beyond 24, and I am here with my good friend Joshua Liberman. And
Hey,
how are you
Dan.
doing today, Josh?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. This event is jam-packed. 2,500 people approximately running around, and a lot of energy. We've both been in the industry probably a lot longer than we care to admit. Especially both of our hairlines have depleted. Going to these events essentially is quite an investment, and you're taking a lot of time out of your schedule to attend these events, and you want to make sure that you get a good return on that investment, and you really need to work the show properly. What are some ways that you've learned over the decades of coming to shows? Not trying to,
Well, let's call it three
three.
decades.
Yeah, we'll keep that down. But what
Yeah.
are some of the things that you've learned ultimately to best work the shows, coming to the shows to get the greatest return of your investment?
Well, first of all, there's three primary things. There are small shows. You and I talk about them all
Yeah.
the time. The ASCII's, Channel Pros, SMD Tech Fests, and others.
Yeah.
Those have single tracks. You're just going to sit in a room or maybe move to one or two rooms, but they're
Sure.
not options. You don't choose at multiple junctures. You don't do a lot of movement. Technically, they're easy to move through.
Right.
But when you get into a show like this with multiple simultaneous tracks, especially if they're non-repetitive, so each event happens once,
Okay.
you've got to make some choices. So that step is planning. And that's really make a plan. Figure out what you want from this. If your goal is mostly centered around the bar, well, you got to make sure that you have a lot of friendly vendors around. But
Right.
if you actually want to look for new technologies, new processes, new vendors, new
Yeah.
things like that, make that plan too, because you have to know when that vendor hall is open and when you can interleave it. In some shows, you have to come and go out of presentations to be there. Others, there's dedicated time, but make sure you hit that time hard and even look at the show floor diagram. And you have to find a way to walk past people jumping up and down, waving signs in your face,
Yeah.
or the giant flapping guys in the wind. You need to work that too. So you need a plan, you need to execute. But the third thing is you also need to make sure you don't skip the need or the benefit of community and schmoozing, networking with your peers, your
Yep.
friends, some of the vendors. So just figure out the right balance of all of that. And I'm not pretending I'm never in the bar, but balance everything. And remember that if you want to get up at 6 and hit the gym at 7 to be on time to the show at 8,
Yeah.
maybe you ought to shut some things down around 11 or 12 instead
Right.
of seeing who's the last man standing.
Because you can just keep going and going and
It
going.
is shocking, especially when you're in a bar that opens into another bar with
Right.
people standing between there and the staircase. It's like running the gauntlet in the show floor where you got to get past, all the people that want to grab your attention to get what you want done. So have a plan and stick to it.
Absolutely. So do you set any kind of goals as far as, when I walk away from the show, this is what I want to achieve?
Yeah, I absolutely do. So I look in advance at the list of vendors, and I'll make note of the ones that I want to just have a general conversation with them.
Sure.
I always bring questions, not necessarily tech questions, or a lot of times they're relation questions or roadmap questions and things like that. I'll bring a list of those to the vendors we're already engaged with, or perhaps on the precipice of engaging with. So sure, I absolutely have that. And if I look through the sessions and I find that there's some that I'm not sure of. The apps are cool because you can drill down to the apps and usually get everything from a reasonable session synopsis to a bio on the presenter.
Right.
That makes things better than the old single paper, single page, single sentence days. So that's great too. But you have to figure out what the value is. And I don't actually try to measure it. I don't put metrics on it per se.
Okay.
But I certainly go in with a general qualitative sense of what I want to achieve from each show. Now, I do about 20, 25 shows a year, and believe it or not, there are people that do 50. I know a guy does 40 or 50.
Right.
So they're out there. But my goal also is to make shows revenue neutral. for
Sure.
me, cost neutral, I'm sorry, for the year. And to that end, some people know I'm also a photographer in the industry and I speak. And as long as I can juggle that stuff, then I don't care about the ROI
Right.
in a dollars and cents manner at all. What I care about is improving both my practice, my business, and my overall position in the industry, making sure that I know as much as I can.
Yeah, I mean, we all have things that we know we want to learn. Whether it's from a vendor or from other MSPs, and it's the beauty of our channel is that people are willing to share, and it's not a competitive type thing. There's co-opetition. People are willing to share their secret sauce and and tell you how they've accomplished A, B, or C.
Yeah, I think that that's largely true. It's even more true than it used to be, which surprised me, actually. I think that it's been great for that. And that's that collegiality, that community thing that you have. But you also, I share work. I live in New Mexico, right? There's nothing right there.
Right.
And when I need to go do something, I usually have to leave the state to go to a show. But I have picked up work from other members, from ASCII members, from people I've met on your community and others around the world. And I've made liaisons, I've been introduced to and worked with other vendors and other providers that I would not know otherwise. So it's wonderful for all that stuff. You're absolutely right. I don't know how people do no shows a year. I do realize I'm a little over the top, but I do not know how people go through the years without at least attending a show a quarter or something in a different field or a different vendor or an open show like this.
I mean, the only way for us to grow our business is to absorb the knowledge that's out there, to see things from a different perspective. Because when we're in our business, we are in our business, and there's so many ideas out there. One thing that I'd like to do is pick 3 to 5 things that I'm going to walk away with, and I know because you can have idea overload. And I'll say these 3 to 5 things I'm going to implement, and the things that I've learned, because you can't do them all. It's impossible.
No, and sadly this year we had 3 things I had to change. One has happened, one is happening this week, and one hasn't happened yet.
Okay.
So I know what you mean. I bring home too many options, and it's really tough that way. But the reality is you don't know what you don't know until you start going out and experiencing shows and again, your community and other providers in your space so that you can see what they're doing differently.
So as we wrap things up, any parting words that you would want to share with MSPs that are looking to get more from events?
Yeah, try to find an hour in the middle of your day where you can dose yourself and sleep for an hour to catch back up, because the reality is you're burning the candle at both ends, and at some point you're just a puddle of wax.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Joshua, thank you so much. I always enjoy chatting with you.
Me too, Dan.
I don't even know how many years that we've known each other, but this is what it's all about.
I know, because it was at an exchange event, and it was the day I walked up and we started the SRPG, the Society of Reasonably Proportioned Gentlemen. And it was roughly 12 years ago today.
12 years ago.
Yeah, it was summer 12 years ago.
Time flies.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Thank you for listening to us. Until next time, have a great rest of your day. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to The Stack.